Hello, this is I'm Ren, and this is Grunge Granny. I'm going to do another little craft with me video. I had already done one of these, but then it ended up not working out because my original spine, if you can see, was this wide, which was not big enough, as you can now tell by how chunky this book is getting. So I started to have a lot of struggles with that video and then decided I just have to, since this is my idea book that I'm going to be using as a template, I don't care if there are mistakes in it, because more important is that I have it all fitting in this book. And then with the other ones, I figure it won't matter because I won't, either in the future, if somebody wants a version of this idea book, then I can actually make it with the spine where it's supposed to be, which, by the way, is much bigger. It's like double the size that I originally thought I needed. But so then I had to add more to the side. And I kind of liked the idea of doing this kind of thing right here, which is why I kept that so long. But I also wasn't sure if I was going to need to keep expanding it or not. So what I had to do was go in and I removed the signature I was already starting on so that I wouldn't have to move the third one also. And then I just poked some new holes and moved the third one on the other side. And I can show you quickly with a little flip through. I did remove the paper pack here because I was trying to take out the things that I realized were too thick, that I'm gonna have to remake into something thinner. Another problem I got into was that since I am trying to reuse cardboard from packaging, from food and things like that, that my book was getting too thick because of that. So in the future, I either have to make the signatures really spaced apart so that there's room for all the chunk, or just try and refrain from using quite so much cardstock and or cardboard, because that was just too thick. Like I had this little journaling card that I made out of some cardboard, and it was in here, and I just swapped it out with a piece of paper because it was just much too big. These little guys are here. They're still closed. That's good. I added this little section. I just put a book page over this page. I had a little decorated page with some old dictionary on top of another book page just for contrast. I should have inked this edge, but it was too late by the time I glued it down. But now I know for the future. I had cut out the word make because I thought that was cool. And since it is so, this is so frail and it was already tearing, I went ahead and glued it onto this piece of paper. I put a tag on. I had run the tag through the die cutter and I like the way that that looked. This did pull up some, and it's because I had used my craft adhesive instead of glue. But again, now I know for the future. I like this little pocket with the journaling card in it. And this is from my deck of cards. And I used some labels that I made from, that's another die cut. And I glued them together to make a tag. That way it could slide right in there. I thought that was neat. I decorated this envelope with one of my little stamps, but then kind of included this little, I guess it's technically a belly band, to tuck in this label in and have it open like this with a journaling card inside. And there's this is a magnetic little clip. It was a double-sided paper clip, but the paper clip broke because I was trying to fix the inside. And so then I just added magnets to the inside and glued some string so that this side would be here. And my magnets are not very strong. So now, again, note for the future, because these magnets are not very strong, I cannot have it going over the envelope, and this side cannot be going over too much. This was going to be another cardboard journaling card, and I had to change that out as well. So, whew. I'm trying to talk. I realize I'm trying to talk too fast. I'm going to take a breath for a second. Okay, so for this one, I used lace and some material, and there's some handmade paper indicating the tag, and I have a little bitty card in here, which is also made out of cardboard, which is why it's so thick. And then I actually remade this book that was in here, because again, much too thick. It was this beforehand, just a little book that had some pages, but even that was too thick. So I had this little belly band that it was tied into, but realized after the fact that since I wanted to go in sideways instead of over the top, that I needed to have something to stop it at the bottom. So that's why I added this little piece of jute twine right here. And then, oops, well, I guess it could come out the bottom. I just used some washi tape to decorate it really quick with the sticker and made a thinner book out of a thinner piece of cardstock. I think the other one was cardboard. It was just very thick. That way this can just tie pretty easily. Oops, there we go. There we are. So I'm going to take that off. And you'll see that this is a pocket. I glued it down on the sides so that it's a full pocket, and then tucked in a little journaling card right in there. I'll put this back over. I was really proud of this envelope. I was trying to think of different ways to utilize envelope shapes. And one thing I did is that I only glued just right here so that this could be a spot. And then I added a little faux stamp that I made, tucked that in there, cut out a spot on the top so that I could have that just come in and out, and then glued it only down on the sides and I think the bottom, yeah, so that I could add another one back here. Then, because of thickness, I went ahead and I used brads to attach these papers together because I thought the brads added a nice little element to this page. Stuck these together so that these two pages themselves could make a bigger pocket for a bigger collection of papers. And then just did some collage scraps down at the bottom where I only glued down on different sides so that I could put in a tag, and then a piece of ephemera, and then another piece of ephemera. For this one, I did that top tuck. I started to feel overwhelmed with how do I have ideas and what are all the things that I can do. And at first I was really excited about all the ideas until I started realizing that I needed to be more strategic with my book, because if not, it was going to be too thick again, or I was going to have to start breaking up the signatures, which was going to ruin the spreads that I had made, and I didn't want to do that. So I went back to Corey Dahman's videos and started watching her flips, flaps, and folds, and she had posted this little top tuck one that I liked. On that one, she did have this glued into the page, but I just didn't want to do that because I feel like that'd be harder to write on if it was glued in. So I wanted to just be able to tuck it in there, and then it would also give this space if somebody wanted to do something there. So there's a little tuck. This one, I stopped caring so much about filling in everything because I want to have just the base down first. I'd made just a large pocket so that something could go here. And then for this one, I just put down a piece of black so that it would tie back to these black spots on my collage roll. This is from my collage roll. When I have scraps, what I've been doing is just making a collage roll. Whenever I package orders, I use craft paper, and my craft paper, I cut off the ends to make the packaging neater. But then I just had these strips, and I still have more that I need to wrap up in here and cut down to size, or at least tear off the uneven edges so that it could be semi-even. And I've been collaging all my scraps down on it, and now I need to decorate it. Or I could, but I like the idea of more. It was something Corey called a naked cluster. Is just saving it where it's just scraps like this, but then later in the future, decorating it so that it would tie to the page more specifically. So this one is just a little book page where I did one here and one here. This one, I did the little collage strip parts because I kept having all these little ripped end pieces to decorate right there, and then just did a little pocket here with a little pocket here. This is a tea bag, and I used the tea bag itself to put over this tea bag. This was I don't know if you can see it, but the blue part is a tea bag. But again, I'm trying to reuse trash and material, so I don't want to just be making things or putting things in here that are just for my paper scraps. I want to use things that haven't been being used in my home or that would otherwise go to recycling and find ways to utilize them. So for this one, it was tea bags with the actual outer paper tea bag, and then the tea bag itself that held the tea. And what I want to do with this is use one of these cards that I've gessoed both sides of to decorate, and then kind of put in some little tags inside. Oop, and that's what I'm going to be working on. So I have a few more pages. I had worked on this signature already. This is the one that I removed and then put back in. So this one was coffee dye tracing paper, the negative space of a die to indicate this first pocket. And I had that. And then I had glued down on this edge and on this side so that there would be a little tuck there. And I used some earrings that somebody was donating to, well, they were just getting rid of, and I had thought, well, I'll just donate them when I take my stuff to donate, and then realized, oh, I can use these little beads. That'll be cute. I still have to decorate some of these things, but again, like I said, I realized I was spending too much time on the decorating and the inserts when I really needed to be spending more time on just thinking of the layout, because all the rest could happen later. So these were just two of the same size pieces, and I glued them like this so that I could have a spot here and then a spot here. And this held a little journaling card from that same card deck. And then what I did with this tag, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many tags, but I just added more paper so that I could fold out to a little kind of a concertina fold with adding in more writing spots. This was just a simple little pocket with a journaling card. And then I have my paper clip. This one is a paper clip here, and this paper clip is intended to hold down this, which I put a pocket here, and this little fold down, so that I had this little bag with some more paper for writing that would flip open this way. There we go. So I had some ideas, got some more ideas, went back and, like I said, watched some more of Corey's videos. And one of the things that I wanted to do was finish working on these little tags. So I'm going to do that first, which I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with them. I know I want the bigger one back here. I also am noticing that with tea bags, because I covered this in chiffon, because I was just trying to cover the color, next time I'm probably just going to gesso. Usually whenever I've made something like this, I've never put it like into a journal. I've just given it to somebody as a little bag with the stuff in it, and they could just take out the stuff and then put the little bag into a journal if they wanted to. But I'm trying to think of more ways to utilize the things that I've been making. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to make that. We're going to go ahead and start gluing and decorating. I wanted them to look like little tea bags. And I actually kept the string and the tags that it had already. And I don't know if I want to keep the tags, but I might keep, here's one tag. Let's see, where did I put the other one? Well, I'm not entirely sure where I stuck the other one, but I think that this embroidery, I think it's crochet thread, actually looks pretty close to what that looks like. So we'll just use those again. And let's make a little tag to go onto the other one, since we don't have one now. I'm going through, let's see, I can show you. This is what I've been doing lately, is I have these two little boxes. They're actually one box, but I use the lid for a separate box. This one has all my paper scraps or things that are unfinished. So all these cards have been gessoed on one side, but they're still unfinished. And then these are the ones that are pretty much done. So I've been going through whenever I need anything, this box first, to see if there is something that will already kind of look like what I'm looking for. Actually, like that. Like if I want something that's kind of like this. Oh, I have an idea, but I don't want to make anything new right now. I want to just use what I have. So I have all these little bitty ones. I feel like that would work. Maybe that one? That's a little bigger. Let's see. What else is in here? Oh, I have bigger ones. I think I'm gonna use whatever I have the excess of. Seems like I have more of these little ones, so I am going to use one of these. I also really like the way that this is done. I don't know if you can see it, but on this little T tag, it looks like there's just a little notch and then a tiny hole, and I kind of want to mimic that. I think that that's way handier than threading a needle and having to thread it with some embroidery floss, if I can figure out how to do that. And it might be fun to put a little piece of scrap or some kind of ephemera thing there. I'll also need to cover this one. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's find something fun. Now we'll need just our little scraps. And I have my trash jar, so I can do maybe just a little piece of something across the middle. I feel like I'm talking quieter and faster. I think it's just because somebody else is in the house, and I don't think that'll happen all the time. I think that in the future, once I get more used to doing this, that I'll probably stop feeling nervous about someone listening to me talk as I make stuff. But for now, I still get nervous about it. I feel like my chair's just getting louder. I don't know why I get nervous about it. I guess it's because, like, I should think about that. I wonder if I feel like, I don't know, like I'm embarrassed, I guess, like as though talking about the crafting process somehow indicates some sort of like pompousness in my part. Like, how dare I think that anybody would want to hear about how I create things? But I think that it is important to hear everybody's way of creating things. I love hearing how other people's brains work, and it is in hearing how other people's brains work that I start to think about the way mine works. That's actually something I started to say in the last one that I don't know if I'm going to post it or not. I thought about posting it just for the sake of the ramble, because I do get really kind of introspective a lot of the time and start thinking about all sorts of things. And sometimes I think of things that I personally end up wanting to remember in the future. I like that little scrappy piece just across right there. That looks cute. It looks like it has a belt. I like it. Let's decorate this one. See, I would have gessoed it had I thought about that earlier, but I didn't think about that earlier. So let's go ahead and cut that a little. And then let's cut this a little. There we go. Honestly, I think that's fine. I'm not going to ink these edges because I'm going to ink the whole thing. And I don't want to, it's so small that I just don't think that it would be better to ink it in advance. I think it'd be better just to ink it as a square. There we are. Whew. I feel like today has already been kind of long, and I'm noticing that as I wake up earlier. Today I actually did technically wake up at 5:30, but I did hit snooze once, and then I just got up at 5:45. But it was that as I wake up earlier, my days feel so much longer, and I know that that's obvious. I think right now it's about 11 a.m. and it's weird to think, wow, like I've already been up for 5 hours. There would be days where I didn't wake up until now in the past. And so feeling my body shift and get used to that is pretty strange. Because then I definitely hit like a kind of like, what is it? The noon tireds from noon until about 2. I get a real intense crash. And then I kind of like mosey for the rest of the day. So it definitely helps me prioritize. Like, it helps me remember to do the most important things first, or the things that require more energy. It's just been also it gets harder as the day goes on because I am so tired. But I'm noticing too that I don't think it's about not waking up early. Like, I don't think that's the problem. The problem is that I need to go to bed earlier so that I'm more rested for the rest of the day and to shorten my day. Otherwise, I end up with really long days if I don't go to bed earlier. And then the other problem is my diet. I probably definitely need to eat things that give and sustain energy more effectively. So that has been an interesting thing, and I might start putting that in my bullet journals as well, because I've also been working on setting up my August spread and making sure that everything is in there that I want. But in doing that, there have been things that were necessary when I first started my other bullet journals. And when I started those, it was because those are the things that I was focusing on. But at this point, like, I still definitely need and want my sleep and water trackers. But I've actually gotten pretty good at, having a decent amount of sleep and decent amount of water. I want to increase those things, or at least increase the consistency. So I still want to have the trackers, but it's not as dire as it was in the beginning. And now I feel like I need to shift my focus more onto what I'm eating so that my energy can be sustained better. So these are zoo cards, and I think it's funny because you can kind of see a hint of giraffe and a hint of zebra, but I think I want to keep them visible just a little bit. So I'm just going to ink up these edges to give it a little more oomph, just to give it a little something something. I want to know how that little tie works in that tea bag. Oh, but I will be doing also a flip through of all the things I had originally set up for my bullet journal. This was my first year ever bullet journaling, and I found it wildly beneficial. Not just because of the tracking of habits, but in the fact that in tracking my habits, I required myself to have a dedicated amount of time in the morning and a dedicated amount of time at night to log that information. So aside from even the act of bullet journaling, the bullet journal itself and the content it had, the time that I was setting aside for myself and for my habits and for developing those habits was important, because it reminded me that, oh, there needs to be time where I'm focusing just on my growth and my progress. And this is a way that I can do that, is by bullet journaling it and keeping track in my bullet journal. There we go. So I know this doesn't look like a tea bag, and it's not going to look like a tea bag. It's a journaling card. But I wanted it to look kind of like a tea bag. Maybe it will a little bit. I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and close up this glue. Let's see. Now I want to add this tag to the little guy. Yeah, the little one. Oh, now we can test out and see if we can figure out how exactly that one is working. So what I know is that this one has a little dot here. So let's put a little hole right in it. Oh, see, now that's too big. And then it has a little slit. Oh, I'm nervous. It's just a singular little slit. Let's try to do it that way. I know, I'm just not getting my cutting mat. I don't want to be getting up, moving around and stuff. Okay. Bam. So what they did is, it looks like they go through kind of one. Ooh, maybe that's right. But there's also a kind of little knot. Oh, let's try it like this. Okay. I think it goes in like this all the way through, and then maybe let's tie a little knot on this side. There we go. Little wee knot. Oh, nope, see, that just pulled it out. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna do it like this, and then I guess try and tie a knot now. Well, all right, I think that I'm not gonna be able to do that because I don't think I really understand how that works. So I'm just gonna tie a couple knots, give a little loose end, and see if I can kind of figure out how that goes. Maybe like that. Let's see. Like that. Let's see if that'll work. Now can I put it in there like that? There we are. Yeah. Through the hole. Is that in the hole? That looks like it kind of worked. So let's do the little one. Oops. Right in here. Oh, that string looks kind of long. Well, then I'll just have it going over the top as if my book is a cup of tea. I think that sounds pretty cute. There we are. Now, let's see. Oh, the string. Where'd I put it? Right there. Let's not make that one quite as long. Let's go about here. I guess I could always cut off the excess. There's my scissors. And then I dropped another pair of scissors because I definitely have 2 pairs of scissors up here. Let's put this one here. Maybe if I like the idea of it going horizontally because I just really like the way that looks. But now, oh no, I think I did the thing that I didn't want to do. It's okay, I think I did it. Oh, did I get it? Did I get it all the way through? Oh no, I didn't. Okay, let's try again. Oh, I'm gonna try it this way. I'm gonna do the little tippy tip with the glue thing. I don't like that it gives me a hard end though, which is why I don't usually do that. I just don't, I also don't want to have to thread a needle right now. It's not that it takes long. It's a pretty thick yarn needle. I just don't even want to do it. I just want to sit and record this and chill. I've been passing kidney stones lately. And so anything that requires more energy, just kind of saying no to. It's a part of the whole creating boundaries with myself thing. So if there's been anything that I've learned from having regular kidney stones, is just that I am a person that will make things harder than I have to, which is why this book, it's interesting to watch my own evolution in working on it. Not for you, for me. I don't know if it's interesting for you, and I can't speak for you, but for me it is. I at first wanted to have it be this big art piece with like everything made, and then realized, no, I can't do that. I need to just have this be a template, because until I have the template, I can't really see what the whole thing's going to look like cohesively. And then I can go back and make all the other little extra parts. There we are. Yay! Okay, that's pretty freaking cute. And that ties to that. I think that's adorable. I like it. It's making me so happy right now. And now I'm going to add a little hole here. Ba-ba-ba. Okay. Let's just add more. And making it a bigger hole so that it's easier for me to stick that through. Because I'm going to be worried that that one's going to come apart because I did the little slit thing wrong. I am still so curious as to how that the Simple Truths Company puts their tea bags in, because the bag itself too, this part, was actually attached in a very cool way, kind of like that. Look how cute. I actually really love that. And I think if I wanted to, I could just do that and just tuck them in. That way I'm not worrying about them pulling on it and pulling it out of the book. There we go. Oh, okay. So then we have, let's do one more page and then I will close this video out. So there was a fold that I saw recently on Corey Dahman's video. It's not a recent video at all. Well, it's still from this year. So I could be later, but I'm not. Where she did this really neat fold. But like I said, I'm getting more worried about how much space I'm taking up in my books because I'm wanting to make everything so thick and I just cannot. I cannot do it. Here we are. Let's use this one. Let's use this. Okay. Can I push some of these things out of the way? There we are. Let's go ahead and put this one here. So she had done a thing, and we're just gonna try it. We're just gonna see if it works. Not if it works. I know it works. See if it works for my book. Where all she did was fold in this way, and then she folded it in this way, and then she glued it down. And I want to have this one because I keep forgetting that this exists and how simple it is. I want to be able to remember it in the future, which is why it is going in my template. I'm going to ink the edges. And she's got, if you ever want to watch how to do a bajillion different kinds of flips, flips, flaps, and folds, then definitely check out her videos. I think that my deal is that like some of them just involve a lot. Sometimes she'll be like this one, and this one has a booklet and a pocket and a tag, and sometimes I just don't want to. And so I want to give myself different options that are really simple because I know that I am the kind of person that can very easily overcomplicate a thing all on my own. So I don't want to get into the habit of doing that and then putting this unrealistic pressure on myself of making something just way more intricate than it needs to be, because I'll feel like it's not interesting or good unless it has all of that other stuff, and I need to stop doing that. I do want to remember those because I want to make some of them. There's one with like a little notebook flap, and then there's one that's kind of like this, but when you open it up, there's a booklet inside, and I thought that was really cool. And the fact that it opened up was cool. But I just don't want to do it now, and because I made this book so thick already, I don't want the middle signature to have anything more that's too thick. I'm just going to wait and then do the inserts and the thicker ones for the very back so that there's all that space that I've added to the book for it to hang out in. So we're going to do it like this. So first thing, I'm going to add this little dot here. This is my Beacon Advanced Craft Glue 3-in-1, because I like the idea of putting in the little stamps because I have quite a bit of those. So I definitely use up my sticker paper that way. I'm going to do some glue here and some glue here. And let's have that close. See, now I know, though, in the future, that I'll look for my thinner pages or the things that are done with just paper, and then I will find ways to organize the pages in the books that I make so that there's more balance between the heavy and the lighter pages. I think I went in hard. I went in hard early. I just started adding in a bunch of stuff and was so excited about having a spot to just put everything and finding out different ways to do different pockets, and then I didn't give myself enough room. So now I'm having to do that, which is funny because I feel like it's a metaphor for my own body, because I'm sitting here, went in hard with YouTube, and then I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's okay to have just a regular little craft with me and just talk to you about how I'm figuring out how to do my book. And I'm taking, like I said, the pressure off myself by just reminding myself that this is just a template. It doesn't even have to stay this way. I think in the future, if I remake it, I might even like number the pages and then in a separate journal, write down the order of the pages in the way that I want them. That way, I will know at that point what I actually want it to look like and how I want it to be. I'm not going to worry about decorating for now, but I want to show how you can put some fun things in. So like, I can put in my little stampy stamps. I want to do different colors. Let's do a black one. Here we are. That can go there. On this side, I wonder if one of my cards will fit. Will that fit in this side? Is that too big? That's a little too big. So we'll have to keep that one in here. But I do want to make sure that that dries so I don't accidentally glue that down in there. Yeah, that's how come I don't want to decorate them yet either. Because I got worried yesterday when I accidentally almost glued something in. I was like, no, don't do it. And now for this page, see, like, how can that be balanced? See, those two are very simple. I just really wanted to also feature the little tea bag and give it its own spot. We're getting simpler, as you can tell. But also, it's just because there's no decorations. Like, that could have more decoration. That could be collaged. That could have something cool. The card itself that goes in here would give it more character. This one is pretty plain, but I could add something here. And this one, of course, could have something here, or even maybe a little top tuck up here. And debating now what to do on these ones, because now this is the last page. So if I was going to add a little insert, originally I wanted it here. But now I'm thinking there's not enough room. So I might add it here. Tricky, tricky. All right, I'm going to spend some time thinking about it. I hope that you liked listening to this process video. Or if you didn't, then I'm sorry. I will also be posting separately flip throughs that aren't real time, so that they're maybe a little faster paced. Just right now I'm trying to take things slow anyway, so this is what works for me, for my health, and I appreciate you for understanding. Also, remember to take time for you and your health, and take things slower if you need to. Don't ever let people make you feel like you have to be high energy or be a certain way, unless that's like what you already are. But if you're not feeling it, be you. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.